Good Christmas Eve afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center with a severe weather alert to tell you about. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect here all the way till 2:15 this afternoon for parts of Franklin, Gulf, Liberty, and Wakulla. Really, all of Franklin involved in this, to be quite honest. As you can see here, the entire county is under this warning. And then as we get over toward Gulf, we're talking more about the Florida Panhandle and not quite in our coverage area, but now starting to see a severe line here get into toward parts of the coverage region into toward Liberty County. You see that inching on in. So we're going to come on right now and give you some updates on what is happening here. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning in Plato 215. There is a tornado possible tag with this storm, and we're talking about areas included under the warning that are not limited to Carabel, East Point, Apalachicola, also getting over toward Crawfordville, St. George Island, Port St. Joe, Mexico Beach, Weewahitska, Franklin, also even in toward Honeyville, Jewel Fire Tower, Shadeville, Royal Bluff, Chipola Cutoff, St. George Island State Park, Central City, Cape San Blas, as was Beverly and Panacea. So a severe thunderstorm warning until 2:15. When thunder roars, of course, you want to go indoors, seek shelter inside that sturdy building, and stay away from those windows, as of course this is Christmas Eve. So we just want you to really be careful out there with those plans. This activity is going to be moving in further toward the Big Bend, then in toward parts of North Central Florida here later on as well. So just be aware that marginal risk is in play. I'll go ahead and kind of clear the screen of our severe thunderstorm warning information for now as we try to break some things down. As you can see, out ahead of the main line, even though we're not getting any rain here in North Central Florida, the winds are really howling out there. I know gusting that 20-30 mile an hour range, even a reading over 40 toward the University of Florida just a little while ago. So an isolated power outage or two can't be ruled out. And I know already some issues toward Tallahassee in terms of some issues there in toward the downtown area with some trees falling. So as we get in toward that region, just kind of interesting to note there for sure. I'll go ahead and kind of look at some different things over the last little bit. I'll give you that report actually that I'm referring to. Because that's kind of interesting to hear about the damage there in the ward, Leon County there. So I'm going to probably pull that up in my system. It'll take just a moment because that was a little while ago, but I just think it's kind of relevant here how some of these winds here, these non-thunderstorm winds, can be problematic here. Looks like, in fact, this was 1 mile west-northwest of Tom Brown Park here, where we had a large tree that ended up falling down there. And then once we get into that, I'm going to be able to break down even more about what happened. I'm just clicking on that report right now behind the scenes, giving you the latest information. So that large tree fell onto two more trees, which then fell onto two parked cars, and that obstructed the roadway there. So not what you want to hear. That's actually a little east of downtown, but you kind of get the idea as we're looking toward 319 there. So again, just something that's of note there, of note in toward Tallahassee, with some of those different reports coming in here this afternoon. So a damage report in from the emergency manager. Just always have to be cognizant of that for sure. But getting those winds out ahead of the main line. But as we're looking right now at some of our live information, we do see some rotation here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up our other system right now so we get a better handle on what is going on. You'll be able to see here some of the wind energy and some rotation as we're getting not far from Wilma, it looks like. So we'll just continue to watch here this potential as we're looking off the Eglin Air Force Base radar. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning remaining in effect until 2:15 this afternoon. We're going to continue to watch things here on the Weather Center. So just stick with me here. We're going to get you through what's going on. I know we have that big cool down coming behind this line, so we're talking about that here as needed as well. It's going to get really, really cold here Friday night, Saturday morning, but even on your Christmas Day, it's going to be very cold here as well with those highs trying to maybe inch up to 50, but not really getting there in many spots. So we'll keep you up to date. We're going to gather more information back here by about 1:30 or so, unless we need to come back on earlier. Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here in the Weather Center. We're going to break back in right now because we have a new warning that is in play here now until 2:15 as well. That includes areas here of northwestern McCullough, Gadsden, Central Liberty, and Central Leon counties in the Florida Big Bend. As the other warning to the south being continues, as that you heard that beep there in the background, but the warning to the north. We're talking about severe thunderstorms located along a line extending from near Greensboro to 15 miles southeast of Blountstown, and those are moving northeast at about 50 miles per hour. So radar indicated storminess here that could be of that severe nature. Quincy, Midway, Havana, Tallahassee, but not downtown Tallahassee per se. Greensboro, Gretna, Fremont, as well as Rock Bluff, the Jewel Fire Tower, Littman, Brown House, Juniper, Douglas City, Darcy, Villas, Florence, Hosford, Scotland, Jensen Place, and Jameson. So severe thunderstorm warning in play right now for that area as well. We're going to continue to watch it as we zoom on in here. We have seen some weak rotation with this, so we're just going to watch to see if we get these greens and reds a little closer together, a little brighter on the screen. Right now, nothing is indicating a tornado is imminent, but that tornado possible tag is there because we could get that rotation to pop up pretty quick here and really try to spin as we watch the action now to the south. You see here, we're seeing these greens and reds, but they're not very organized right now either. But as we go to base velocity, you can see the wind energy that's trying to translate down to the surface here. These winds of that near severe nature trying to translate down. So you have to watch for that potential here this afternoon. I know this area kind of stands out as we're looking north. It looks like a Villas there as we get toward Liberty County. So we're just going to watch here this severe storm that is moving on in right now. Again, severe storm warnings in Plato 2:15 this afternoon in the Florida Big Bend. I know we just got a mesoscale discussion here from the Storm Prediction Center in the last few seconds. So I'm going to go to our other system right now and I'll kind of read some of this information to you as we're talking about it live here on the air. And they're saying in that blue circled area you see on your screen that the threat for locally damaging winds and a brief tornado will exist along a prefrontal QLCS. And we're talking about this area here also under that slight risk that was upgraded here toward Tallahassee a little while ago. We're watching here from the central to eastern Florida Panhandle and into southwestern Georgia some as well, though the instability may not be as high, I'm thinking, as we get toward the north there. But the magnitude, according to the Storm Prediction Center, just go ahead and read. They're discussing some more. These threats not expected to be big enough here to preclude a severe weather watch being issued in the near term, but they'll continue to watch those observational trends as well as that situation does continue, as 20% chance right now of a watch being issued is what they're noting right now here at the Storm Prediction Center. So we'll continue to watch here. The threat pretty low for that watch, 20%, but there are some conditions that are favorable enough for some severe weather, as you're seeing with these warnings that are starting to come into play now, as we have the conditions being tapped into a little bit by some of the storminess here. I've been watching it kind of chug along, but now the storms are strengthening some here this afternoon. You see that slight risk on the screen, but right now no tornado watch, thunderstorm watch looking imminent here from the Storm Prediction Center, and that's some good news. But severe thunderstorm warnings do continue here at this hour for parts of Gadsden, Leon, Liberty, Wakulla, Franklin until 2:15 this afternoon. We'll continue to update you with the latest information. If I don't have anything new, I'll see you back here at 1:30. So stay tuned, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here at the bottom of the hour with another update as we have a new warning that just came out from the National Weather Service in Tallahassee for downtown Tallahassee. A severe thunderstorm warning in Plato, 3 o'clock. A pretty long fused one, and this action's moving relatively slow in some regard, at least. I think the NASA just want to give pretty good warning since we're on Christmas Eve. Moving east at 30 miles an hour. Severe thunderstorm warning for Wakulla, Jefferson, and Leon. At 1:29, severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from 7 miles northwest of Havana to 22 miles southeast of Blountstown, moving east at about 30 miles per hour. As you heard another beep in the background, some more information coming out. I'll go ahead and switch to our other radar, zoomed in this area a little bit more. You'll be able to see what's happening here toward Tallahassee, as this new warning includes Monticello, Tallahassee, St. Mark's, Woodville, Crawfordville, Florida State University, Tallahassee Community College, Doak Campbell Stadium, Florida A&M, Wakulla, as well as Lake Bradford, over toward Wakulla Springs, Tallahassee Mall, Bloxham, Tallahassee Regional Airport, and the Natural Bridge area. So a new severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag, including downtown Tallahassee until 3 o'clock. So the next hour and a half, you just got to get through it. Then you'll be getting some rain behind the main line here. The line, the accent air out in front, Roy, and then after that rain moves on through. It's just going to be cold here for your Christmas Day. You won't be talking about any storminess around, which is some good news, at least for everybody at home. But we just got to get through this accent here toward Tallahassee over the next hour and a half or so with this severe weather potential. You see here some weak areas of rotation, but nothing that really stands out right now, which is good news. But you see the wind energy kind of there. You see some of these areas where we have winds to maybe 55 miles an hour, give or take. So we have to just watch, maybe even to 60. That's what the warning is for. So we just have to be paying attention here. But now FSU, FAMU, TCC, I know students aren't there really, but severe thunderstorm warning in Plato, 3 o'clock. I know some of you may live near those areas or have interest in those areas. So just letting you know where those areas are that are underneath that latest severe thunderstorm warning until 3 o'clock. As you see some of that wind energy pulsing up here to about 58 miles an hour or so near Piney Creek Road, it looks like, in toward parts of Wakulla County. So a severe thunderstorm warning, a new one just coming out. 3 of them now out from the Weather Service there in toward Tallahassee. So we're just going to go ahead and watch exactly what is going on here this afternoon. I get multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in play here on Christmas Eve now toward Tallahassee, toward the Florida Big Bend. We'll go ahead and look at some of our cameras right now, and then we're going to kind of do a reset here if we don't get any new information in the next minute or two, as we kind of try to make sure we give you the very latest details and everything. We'll go ahead and look at our FSU WeatherStim camera right now. Again, didn't have any students or anybody around campus here on Christmas Eve, but you see the storminess coming into view here, so I just kind of give you that heads up there at FSU, those communities that surround it with the storminess coming on in here. We'll kind of put a track on some of this. In fact, I know that movement east at 30, so I can kind of give you an idea of when it's going to arrive at the FSU campus. So we're talking about 21 miles away toward Tallahassee proper, toward downtown, toward the FSU campus. Again, some of those communities that surround it. So that gets us there. If you kind of do the math, 45 minutes or so toward downtown Tallahassee. Weather Service now talking about 60 to 65 mile per hour winds on radar in the vicinity of Fort Braden in southwestern Leon County. And that storm will continue to move off toward the northeast here and be around Tallahassee around 2. So they're going a little quicker in the timeline, it looks like. As we got to remember now, western parts of Tallahassee, probably around 2, getting toward that central part a little bit later, eastern parts even a little bit later than that. So you just have to kind of bear that in mind here. This thing's kind of ramping up the seriousness of the situation. So we're going to go ahead now and move you away from WeatherStim. We're going to kind of reset things right now. We'll go to our other system here in just a second. Once we get things reset, there's some tornadic action up toward the Carolinas right now. We want to go ahead and point your attention to, as we get up that way, you see a tornado warning near Bladen County there in North Carolina. You see the enhanced risk in play. Those winds out ahead of the line there as well. But we just got to watch because there is a higher tornado threat up in that direction. So they're going to have to really pay attention here on this Christmas holiday time frame. We're just going to have to really be watching for them as we have that risk of tornadoes that's relatively high, excuse me, as we get toward eastern North Carolina. So I just have to continue to watch for those folks, that potential. But as we get down toward the Florida Big Bend, you see that risk here to an extent, not as high though, and then it's tornado risk a little less even as we get further off toward the east, but it's still there. The marginal risk, severe weather potential is still there, as well as we're talking about that damage and wind risk here, definitely around as we continue to watch things. We'll go back over right now to our GR level 3 computer. We're going to go ahead and give you the latest information on what is happening. You see some of this wind potential here in that 60-mile-an-hour range. And we're talking about areas here, parts of McCullough, parts of Leon. So again, severe thunderstorm warnings in play now till 3 o'clock for parts of Jefferson, Leon, McCullough, 2:15 for parts of Gaston, Leon, Liberty, McCullough, and Franklin. So we're going to continue to track things. Another thing I do want to update you is that cold weather potential. If you don't happen to see another update between now and as we get later on in toward your Saturday morning, I just want to go ahead and warn you about this threat because we're going to see one of the colder nights we've had around here in a while, in fact. So it's going to be really important for everybody to pay attention out there as we go ahead and switch to our graphic system. Right now, you'll be able to see Saturday morning, a hard freeze expected for some, maybe many of our areas, depending on the exact criteria. I know some weather services base it a little different than others, but 25 is what I have toward Tallahassee, Valdosta, 25 Gainesville, and then a little warmer toward Jacksonville, Brunswick, and then Palm Coast right there in a little bit warmer spot, even at 31 degrees. So we're just going to watch for that potential here as you look toward Lake City and Stark, even a little bit cooler of temperatures anticipated. So we just have to watch for that threat here of a hard freeze. You got to protect those pipes because this might be one of the coldest nights we've seen in a few years, and gonna catch you off guard a little potentially as we're going there Christmas night into toward the Saturday morning here, as we're getting from the 25th into toward the 26th. I just want you to be aware here, very cold temperatures are expected behind this system. You just got to be aware, and I know tomorrow is going to be really cold. If you have some of those presents you might want to use right outside of your home, something like that. Unfortunately, it's going to be really cold out there, so you got to bundle up. Those wind chills will be definitely very cold out there, so you just got to take that into consideration here as well. So just trying to give you that cold weather heads up as we go back over to the storminess right now. We have the storms and then the cold, as we eventually could be seeing one of the bigger temperature changes we've had in toward the Jacksonville area, maybe in recorded history. They've been talking about it there on their Twitter account. I know I retweeted something from them a little while ago about that. I'll kind of pull that up on my end right now so I can kind of go over that. They're talking about the close to 50-degree temperature change in the next 18 hours from close to 80 this afternoon and their 30 Christmas morning, with the largest temperature change ever recorded, not just talking about Christmas, but ever recorded. It's 54 degrees there in Jacksonville. That was on February 1st to February 2nd of 1951. So a historic change in temperatures really headed our way. So you just got to be aware of this, and you got to be aware of these storms here as well. This isn't the biggest severe threat we've seen, don't get me wrong, but we can still get some pretty significant damage in some isolated spots. So we have to be aware here, and that's why I'm with you this afternoon as we're looking toward downtown Tallahassee. Over the next little bit, you see some of this wind energy moving on in here as we get toward areas here not far from Smith Creek, as we get near Fort Braden here as well. We just want to go ahead and make sure everybody's staying safe here this afternoon. You just got to go ahead and be inside and away from windows as you have that severe thunderstorm warning in play here. No official watch here in play, which is good news, but a severe thunderstorm warning is in play here as we're watching for this threat of some damaging potential that's of an imminent nature. So the watch not being in play, the reason that's good news is we're not talking about maybe a widespread severe weather event, but we're talking about an isolated event that does look to be ongoing here, with those wind velocities being indicated on Doppler over 60 miles an hour near Fort Braden. So We just want people to be very, very cognizant of what is going on here this afternoon. You got to be vigilant. I just want people to really be careful because of the Christmas holiday. I know some of you might want to just tune out from the world for a few days here. So if your family and friends aren't really paying attention to this, go ahead and let them know what's going on, as we do have some severe weather moving toward Tallahassee right now. Not the worst severe weather we've ever seen, don't get me wrong, but still a pretty nasty event. Christmas Eve, severe weather moving toward Tallahassee, toward downtown there. We're just going to have to watch. You see it getting closer and closer. It seems like it's moving a little quicker than what we were talking about here a moment ago with the 215 estimate. So I'm going to look back here at some of my tools once again as we kind of try to measure this toward Tallahassee. And I'm now getting about 15 miles, which I guess it's to about 210 or so, and the radar I'm looking on might even be a couple minutes behind. So I'm liking the time estimate that Weather Service was given here in the chat session a little bit better here at this point than what we were talking about, maybe closer here to 2 versus 215. So we're just going to continue to watch things here very carefully this afternoon as we kind of track this out toward the downtown area. We just want people to be very careful. Go ahead and get inside here. You got to get inside in the next 10 minutes, maybe the next 5 minutes, just to be on the safe side here toward Tallahassee, because I don't want you to get caught off guard here by this accident. You're already getting the winds out ahead of things. But if you have those outdoor activities, I know some of you might wait till later in the evening, which by then it'll be getting quite a bit cooler. But at least we'll be talking about these storms getting on out of the picture toward Tallahassee. That might not be the case as we get toward Jacksonville, though, so I'll have to be watching for that potential here throughout the afternoon of that threat of the accident coming on in toward the First Coast region. We'll be here to give you the latest updates. Right now, we don't have any active tornado warnings, so we're just going to leave the stream going. We're not going anywhere. I'll be on as we get the latest information in from the Weather Service. I do see, just as we're talking about the latest information, a wind chill advisory just came down for that morning there as we're talking about. It looks like tomorrow, actually, because we're just getting here so cold. I know as we get to Saturday morning, we're going to be talking about the air temperature just being so extreme. But now wind chill advisory just coming down here for tomorrow. They'll go ahead and kind of broaden the view out on another system. Once again here, we'll put on temperatures to see that contrast of the air masses. Really, you'll be able to get an idea of what's going on here. And you'll be able to see that we have readings here, 60s, 70s, even 80s toward Central Florida. But as we get toward Birmingham, they're at 36 right now. Huntsville's at 32. And toward that vicinity, you see that snow potential even, maybe not necessarily reaching the ground right now, but just kind of giving an idea of the big air mass change that is coming here. That change that is coming in toward the picture, that wind chill advisory now from 2 to 9 a.m., including Baker, Bradford, Marion, Clay, even in the word Duval, as we're going to go ahead and kind of click on this right now here in the Weather Center. I'm going to go ahead and look here in my chat session to get the very latest information on exactly what is going on that wind chill advisory. I know as we put on our wind chills right now toward the north and west, you see those numbers in the 20s, not that terribly far away. I mean, as we get to south of Birmingham, even it feels like 26 there. As we get toward Central Florida, it feels like with that heat index temperatures there in toward those 80s, 81 or Orlando Executive, but those heat index values even a little bit warmer at 83. So again, we're watching this threat here very carefully with the storms, but then that cold air coming on into the picture. Here in the chat, they're talking about these temperatures here cooling on down quite a bit, but then those wind chills even a little bit cooler in that 20 to 25 degree range here tonight with the actual feel-like temperatures. As we look here, though, toward a Saturday morning, those actual temperatures will be in that range, pretty much the higher end of that range, at least with some of you. I mean, as we get to the really rural spots, you could actually be in the lower end of that range. I mean, we're talking about 24 in Stark, but I wouldn't be surprised to see readings close to 20 in the very rural areas of our viewing circles. So this is a big deal here in terms of that cold air mass coming on in to cool down, coming on into the picture. So we're just going to continue to watch here with that. But right now, the imminent threat is of those severe storms. We'll gather more information. We'll be back here at 2 o'clock unless we need to come back one earlier. So stick with me, everybody. Stay safe out there. And if I don't see you again, just have those ways to get those alerts. If you're not in these areas, just make sure you have those ways to get those alerts. And I want to go ahead and wish you, though, a Merry Christmas. Meteorologist Casey Cloud back with you here at the top of the hour, 2 o'clock. We're watching some warnings here in play right now, and another one just coming down here from the National Weather Service in Tallahassee. We're talking about areas here as we get toward Grady and Thomas now with a severe thunderstorm warning in effect here until 2:45. This one does not have a tornado possible tag, which is a little bit of good news at least, but we still have to watch the axis because you can still have some power outages toward Cairo, toward Thomasville, toward Ocklackney, toward Reno, Grady County Airport, also Prince's Still, Doddsville, Moncrief, Pine Park, Nickelville, Rocky Hill as well. So we're just going to watch for that. You see that yellow polygon? That's the one there near the top of the screen. The one that we'll be watching there as we get toward Grady County. So let me go ahead and pop up a zoomed in look right now here of the axis moving in toward Cairo right about now. You see what I'm talking about here? And in fact, I know we don't have a tornado possible tag on this storm, but we are seeing some rotation. So we're going to have to watch it. You just never know here in this environment as things get going, as I go down the line here to look for areas of rotation. And I see a little bit of enhancement here toward Wakulla, but nothing really impressive. A little enhancement here toward Leon. We'll watch this to see if it tightens up. I'll back it up a little. And actually, we are seeing an increase in velocities here as we're getting closer toward the site. So we'll watch, and then you see these areas of rotation a little bit here. Rotational activity as we get toward Reno. So we'll just watch things here. We'll watch to see how this translates. I haven't got any damage reports in yet, so that's some good news. I'm hoping some of this wind energy isn't really translating to the surface, but it very well could be, and that's why all these warnings are in play right now. 4 severe thunderstorm warnings are in play here from the National Weather Service in Tallahassee, including the one for Tallahassee proper, and some of the worst of the action is now moving into toward Tallahassee. And after this, luckily, you're going to have a Merry Christmas pretty much here in terms of the weather being what we would expect as you go up north here this time of year anyway. I know we're talking about those temperatures. They're going to really cool down, really get cold, but we're not talking about severe weather once we get past this front end here of the line, front end of the rain coming on in. So that's some good news. You just got to get through this here in toward Tallahassee right about now. You see this getting right here to the west side of town, and then moving into toward downtown in just the next couple of minutes, really. I mean, we're behind the radar, so really might move into downtown right about now, actually. As we go to our FSU Weather Sim camera, we'll go ahead and pop up the viewpoint there and see exactly what is happening. And as you can tell, you get that accent coming on in right now toward that area. So you just have to be cognizant of that for sure with that accent coming on in. Some of that rain, some of those storms getting on into the picture, that severe weather threat moving into toward Tallahassee. So we're just taking that warning information off for now so you get even a broader look here at the imagery. But I'll go ahead and go back to radar as we kind of stick with this for a second. I just want to go ahead and kind of see what is happening here on the viewpoint before we go ahead and go back just to look here at the radar imagery. As I know we just got another update here from the Weather Service in Tallahassee to the Weather Center. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. But as we get over to radar, you see these roads here around. It looks like Mayhew Street, Jackson Bluff Road, West Pensacola Street, getting in the action here into toward Tallahassee. So the update from the Weather Service in general about this threat is they broaden the view back out a little. They're talking about a severe warning storm continues to move through the Florida Big Bend. I think they're talking about multiple severe warning storms really, with those winds continue to be strong to severe up to 60 miles an hour, and still that possibility of isolated tornadoes, and that we got to watch for continued strengthening here with this line of storms throughout the remainder of the afternoon, especially in those areas here in the Florida Big Bend as we get off toward the east. So showers and isolated thunder continues to persist behind this line And I know we'll continue to give you the latest updates. Again, going through Tallahassee right now. We'll watch for those damage reports, but if you're in Tallahassee, make sure you stay inside and get away from those windows. Hopefully, we don't get any tornadic accident involving here in the Ward Tallahassee. It doesn't look like it at this point, which is some good news, but still can have some damage, could have some issues here with this severe storm moving through. And as we look toward the north, you see a little enhancement of wind energy moving toward Bradfordville right now. And we'll just watch some weak areas of rotation toward Grady County as well, but nothing imminent for tornadic action. We're back here by 2:30 unless we have more information before then, so just stick with me. We have that slight risk of severe weather continuing for much of that Florida Big Bend region. Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here at the bottom of the hour with the latest on that severe weather threat across the Florida Big Bend and also into toward South Georgia as well, whereas we do have a severe thunderstorm warning into toward that area. That severe thunderstorm warning there that does continue for parts of eastern Leon, Jefferson, and into toward eastern Wakulla does extend until 3 o'clock, and then the warning there into toward parts of Grady and Thomas goes until 2:45. So we're going to continue to watch these storms. That damaging wind potential does continue here this afternoon on your Christmas Eve as we watch the velocities here. We don't see too much that stands out right now, which is good news. We see some wind energy that's trying to translate to the surface, so we'll continue to watch things here in the Weather Center. And I know we have got a couple reports in here of some damage. One of those reports is coming in recently of power outage there due to a tree down reported by the Duke Power Energy map there, or outage map in toward parts of Wakulla County there. And as we get up toward parts of Gadsden County, Gadsden County dispatch report does indicate that a tree was down there in toward the Quincy area on East Keene Street near Airport Drive. So we're continuing to watch the accident. Nothing right into toward Tallahassee right on the report as of the moment. So that's some good news. Hopefully we don't get too many reports there. That'd be indicative of these storms not being too strong. But the latest update from the Weather Service does say that the severe storms are moving away from Tallahassee and they're almost out of Leon and Wakulla counties, and they are now moving in toward Jefferson County. So we'll see what they decide to do here once the storms get past Jefferson County in toward the Florida Big Bend, and what the accident does need as we get toward parts of Thomas County. Maybe a new warning getting issued toward the east is what the consideration will be. So we'll continue to watch here as we get toward Thomasville. We'll be watching the Florida Big Bend here as well. I know that bigger severe threat is up toward South North Carolina there today, as there is a tornado warning in play as we get toward Myrtle Beach. So I will pop that on. There's also a tornado watch that was recently issued. You see the tornado warning here. That is on your screen. We're talking about areas near Myrtle Beach under this, that area of rotation. We'll pop that on your screen. You don't see it too impressive right now, which is some good news. But as we go back over the last little bit, you'll be able to see here the progression of the accident. And actually, it's not showing up too intense on here right now either. So that's some good news for everybody. We're not getting something to stand out there, though. We are getting some more accident toward the coastal waters, moving towards shore, as you can see here off of the North Carolina coast, really, as we're looking toward the south. Or if you want to think about it off the South Carolina coast, you're looking toward the east. So we'll continue to watch that accident there as the parameters more favorable for tornadic accident in toward that vicinity. That tornado watch goes all the way into effect till 10 o'clock tonight in areas there near Raleigh and also up toward Greenville as well. So we'll be watching. Just got an update locally. A severe thunderstorm warning for parts of southern Georgia has been canceled early, so that's some good news. We're down now just to the one thunderstorm warning for parts of Jefferson, for parts of Leon, and for parts of Wakulla. So hopefully we'll get this warning to go off the board here pretty soon, so we can go ahead and turn the stream off for now as we continue to watch things here in the Weather Center, of course, throughout the rest of the afternoon. Hopefully this remains kind of a disorganized situation. We're not getting a lot of damage reports. We're getting a few here and there. Like one end toward Gadsden, one end toward Wakulla, but nothing too substantial. So we'll continue to watch. I'll be back here by 3 o'clock. Of course, if we get anything that's important that we need to let you know about before then, we'll break in before then. But otherwise, I'll see you back here at 3 o'clock. Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here at the top of the hour as we continue to watch that severe weather potential across the region. We just had that severe thunderstorm warning drop off the screen that we were watching as the storminess was moving through Jefferson County there. I know we did just get a report in of several trees uprooted along I-10 there near exit 217. Though overall, we haven't gotten too many reports in here to the Weather Center, which is good news. I know I haven't seen anything out of Leon County really, which is good news, at least with this line. I know earlier we did have some damage from the initial wind activity that was moving on in there, but that's some good news right now. We don't have anything that's really occurred, it seems, in toward Leon County from this main axis, but we're going to watch here for some areas of rotation, even though we don't have any active warnings right now, with the threat falling down here just a little bit for the time being. We'll continue to watch to see if something ramps back up. I know I was watching a little bit of rotation here in Brooks County a moment ago. We were kind of seeing it develop in Thomas and moving toward Brooks as they go over to other systems. We'll see what I'm talking about a little bit here as we look toward Quitman. But right now, nothing too tight, so that's some good news. The wind energy isn't all that impressive, at least what we're seeing on ground level observations based on the comparison with the actual numbers that are in velocity. Though we will watch here some more accents south of McCulloch County. This area looks a little more impressive. We'll see if a warning is required maybe later for Taylor and toward Dixie. So that's something to monitor. We're going to wrap it up here with no active warnings in just a moment, but just kind of give you a big overview of the situation. And we're still watching things here as they track across the region. We still have those winds into north central Florida this afternoon that have been getting pretty high here. I know there's temperatures, though. That's another story. We'll go over to the other system now. As you see that cooler air moving in toward Tallahassee right now, you see 64 degrees there, but 47 toward Dothan right now. So between Dothan and Ocala, we have a 32-degree temperature difference here, folks. So a huge difference. And that's something we'll be watching with those cold temperatures coming in. That wind chill threat tonight. You got to bundle up here. It's going to be very cold around filling tonight. Into tomorrow, it's going to warm up a little bit, but it's still going to be cool. Maybe even getting some moisture trying to come into the picture, according to some of our really high resolution models. So if that were to happen, well, we'll just have to watch here, as I just got a new warning, so it may stick with things a little longer now. But as I look at some of the higher resolution models, we're seeing a little bit of moisture, which could indicate here maybe a flurry being squeezed out. That's a really low possibility right now. Very low possibility, but we'll continue to watch it as we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning, unfortunately, here toward the north. We're talking about severe thunderstorms located along the line from near Omega to 9 miles southeast of Boston, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. So we're talking about Nashville, Adel, Valdosta, Lake Park, Lakeland, Quitman, Tipton, Ahira, Sparks, Enigma, also getting here toward Omega, even into toward Ray City, Lenox. You kind of get the idea. I-75 at exit 16, Moody Air Force Base, Bremerton, Dasher, all under this new severe thunderstorm warning. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit tighter here to the axis. You can kind of see what's going on there with us moving closer toward Valdosta. So I'm going to go over to the Moody Air Force Base radar here as we gather the latest information on this. Again, you saw the temperature contrast. We're watching different things here in the Weather Center, but we're watching this axis. I was just kind of referencing to the north. We saw an enhancement there of some of that wind energy, and now a new warning coming down from the Weather Service in Tallahassee as we're watching this for parts of Berrien, Brooks, Colquitt, Cook, Lanier, Lowndes, and Tift until 4:30. So moving to that I-75 corridor on a busy travel day. So we just have to continue to watch to see how this wind could reach the surface. I'll go ahead and pop on our other system right now, our Valdosta radar. You see some of these strong winds here in Brooks County, northwest equipment right now. You kind of see what I'm talking about where I had the mouse highlighted. And in fact, we just got a gust there to 51 miles an hour. One of the higher wind gusts we've seen today toward Colquitt County. So interesting to see some of the different observations around for sure. We're just continuing to watch different things here towards southwest, south central Georgia here today. Again, a new warning, so we're going to stick with you here with this stream where we have active warnings or an active warning in our area. This one, of course, going for several counties, but I know we're just going to watch things. So we did get that reduction of the severe weather risk. You might have saw it on the screen a moment ago while I was highlighting some of our temperature trends. We have seen a drop in that risk there from the slight level, which is a 2 out of 5, to a marginal level, which is 1 out of 5. So that's some good news, a lowering of the overall threat. But unfortunately, we have to stick with you right now because we do have that new severe thunderstorm warning until about 4:30 or so for about the area. So we'll keep the stream going now. Eventually, this action may not require us to be on as it gets closer toward north central Florida and southeastern Georgia. And if that's the case, just be mindful those winds that could still be pretty strong. Maybe not even too different than what we're already seeing out toward the west here. So you just want to keep that in mind here, that potential of some pretty strong winds. And you can always go to cloudsweather.com/radar there for an interactive look at the radar across the region to see exactly what is going on in the weather picture. I know that's something you can do while you're on the go here. Of course, you don't want to do it while you're driving, but if you're not driving, something like that, or if you're in the passenger seat, it's always interesting to be able to see exactly what that radar looks like. You can pull that up on your mobile device there, cloudsweather.com/radar. And then we're going to go ahead and broaden the view out right now a little bit. As we get up toward the north here, we have these tornado warnings as we get toward North Carolina. Right now, several active warnings in play. So we're just going to continue to watch here this threat of the tornadic risk there as we get further up toward the north, being a little more prominent than what we're seeing in our area. So at least we're missing out on the worst of things. But up there, we're really paying attention. I know people with travel plans, unfortunately, getting involved in this, I'm sure, as we're looking toward, it looks like Bladenboro there, in toward one of these polygons. We'll kind of zoom in a little tighter. You see some more of this action here as we get east of Fayetteville. Some possible tornadoes on the ground right now. Nothing confirmed at the moment, it doesn't seem, but we're going to continue to watch all that. We're going to continue to watch the severe thunderstorm warning that just got issued here for parts of, it looks like, Berrien, also getting toward Brooks, Colquitt, Cook, Lanier, and Lowndes, and even into word tipped here until 4:30. So we're back here by 3:30 unless we need to come back on sooner. Stay tuned, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here at the bottom of the hour here in the Weather Center as we continue to watch that severe weather threat around Valdosta. We're watching to see how things do evolve there to Ward Lowndes County, but right now I'm just not seeing a whole lot in terms of a radar velocity, so that's some good news. And in fact, if I don't see anything here over the next few minutes, even with the active warning, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up coverage here. We'll continue to be in the Weather Center monitoring things, of course, and if we see something, we'll jump on right away. But if I don't see anything here in the next few minutes, I'm just going to go ahead and end our stream for now. We're going to go ahead and end the coverage and just, again, continue to watch things. And you'll be able to go to cloudsweather.com/radar to get the latest look at things here in the Wardis region. You'll be able to zoom in. You'll even be able to see the lightning that's involved in the different accent around the region. And I know for those active warnings, a good way to be able to get the latest details on those. Just scroll down on the web page there, and you'll be able to see my cloud_weather Twitter account there, and you'll actually see the different alerts as they come out from the Weather Service offices immediately, so you don't even have to wait until I come on or something to that effect. As soon as those alerts come out, they pop up right there in that area on that Twitter account. So that's just a good tool there that you can use. Now we are seeing some tornado warnings in North Carolina. Those are actually a lot more impressive to me than what we're seeing here in Ward, Florida, and Georgia with the accent right now. So we'll pop up some of that real quick. I know some of you have travel plans, some interest in this region, and we have several tornado warnings here as we're looking off the Raleigh-Durham radar right now. We're going to kind of give you the broad view. I know some of these you can go to different radars and get a better viewpoint, but I'll start off with the accent here in northeastern South Carolina near Myrtle Beach. You see some rotation here not far from Conway, and then as we get here into Ward, eastern North Carolina, Elizabethtown and Bladen County, another tornado warning here, a storm near Newton Grove, and then Goldsboro as well under a tornado warning. So a lot of tornadic accent there. These areas of rotation, you can see the different areas, and this one really stands out here north of Clinton. And then toward the south, you see some other areas as well, not as well defined at the moment. But we just got to continue to watch that accent. I know some of you with travel plans or interest in these areas. Just make sure you follow the meteorologist there in the Ward, the Raleigh area, in the Ward, the Wilmington, Greenville television markets, because I know I'm sure they're given all the different details that are necessary to keep everybody safe for their communities here this afternoon on this Christmas Eve. So it's very important that you just kind of pay attention there. Of course, if something like a tornado emergency evolved, we would cut in for that here because that'd be a national level type event. But this doesn't really reach that criteria here. Also, if we had a moderate risk type tornado threat a little bit higher, we would cover it a little more in depth. But this is a little bit below that threshold right now, but still doesn't mean it's serious. And same, I mean, as we look down toward the storm toward Valdosta, I mean, even though it doesn't really meet the threshold to really stay on with it here at this point, I am still going to continue to watch it because there still are some potential threats that are associated with it, that damaging wind potential here moving toward Valdosta over the next little bit. So just stay weather aware in that region. But I know North Carolina really getting hit hard with that threat according to Doppler radar. We haven't seen a lot of ground confirmation up in that region yet, but I would suspect we'll get some reports in ultimately. We haven't seen much in the way of reports down this way, but we have seen a couple. Jefferson, McCullough, Gadsden a report here and there, but nothing widespread, nothing really in Leon County with the actual line itself, so that's some good news. But we're just going to continue to look to the north. I do see a little bit of wind enhancement here north of Nashville that kind of back it up, go forward. You see maybe a little bit of an increase in organization up that way, but still nothing impressive enough to stay on the air with. And as we get down here in the equipment near Valdosta, you see some wind energy, but again, we're not going to keep the stream going here based on what I'm seeing right now. But if something changes, a tornado warning gets issued, we'll jump on immediately. And we'll just watch some of this accent to the east. I may not even cut back in if we get a warning for the Homerville area. If it's a thunderstorm warning, just based on the marginal nature of this accent right now. Of course, you can follow me on that Twitter account at @cloud_WX for the very latest. But right now, just a marginal risk in play. No watches in play. The warning that is in play is of a marginal nature. So we're not too concerned, but if you're in the warning, you still got to take it seriously. We'll continue to watch things, but if I don't don't see you again, don't come back here as we look ahead before tomorrow. I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas once again. If you haven't been paying attention here to some of the different covers that we've had here over the last few days, took them on Monday or earlier today. Just want to make sure you know that I wish you a Merry Christmas out there. Happy holidays. Just try to stay safe out there. Enjoy things the best you can. And again, we'll keep you informed and be on as necessary.